Hey loves, it's your girl Lady B back with another video. And so for today's video, y'all, I wanted to do something that I've been seeing trend on social media, and it's where people are sharing these truths that they are not ashamed to admit. So I did a quick little version of this on Instagram and figured it would be great to come do a full-length version for the YouTube streets. And so yeah, so for today's video, I'm just going to share with you all 4 quick truths that I'm not ashamed to admit. These are things that I have either quietly battled or things that I am learning to accept in this season of my life. I think my hope is that this video encourages you all and reminds you that you are not alone on your journey. So without further ado, let's get to today's video. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the video. These are in no particular order, but let's get into the first one, okay? Y'all, I am 37 and I am not ashamed to admit that I didn't think I'd still be 37 with no kids and no man. And by no man, I mean no husband. I have celebrated my friends and their marriages and the birth of their children with so much joy. But at the same time, I have also cried in private, wondering if I was doing something wrong, asking myself and asking God, when is it going to be my turn? There have been so many nights that I have come home and cried myself to sleep because I feel like I've put in the work to heal myself and to be the type of person that I want to attract, and to work on my spiritual and my mental and my physical and my emotional and all those things, and then to get out here on the 2025 dating scene and see the results that we have been getting. It has been so saddening, if I'm to be honest. And what I'm learning now in this season and what I'm trying to do is to accept that my timeline looks different, and that's okay. No one has the same path to love, and just because my journey is different, it doesn't make me any less than those who have already found love and marriage and motherhood. There really is no right timeline, only God's timeline, and that realization is really starting to bring me peace. So if you are in a season where you are waiting on love or just waiting, period, I really want to encourage you to know that a delayed timeline doesn't necessarily mean a denied blessing. And I know that this is hard to accept and it's hard to live out, right? It's hard to let go of the desires of your heart when they're not coming to fruition the way that you thought they would. In fact, I want to do a video on this quiet sort of grief where you're learning to surrender your plans and what you desired and really having to accept the reality for what it is. So if that's a video that you all want to see me do, leave me a comment below. But I definitely want to give a safe space to let you know it's okay to grieve the life that you desired while also being grateful for the life that you have, right? I have had to grieve the fact that I'm unmarried and that I'm not a mother and that I'm not a wife, but I'm also very grateful for all of the blessings that God has given me. All right, so getting into this next truth that I'm not ashamed to admit, y'all, confidence has not been easy for your girl. Do not let the way that I show up on YouTube or social media fool y'all, okay? I have not been the most confident, especially now as I am battling hair loss due to lupus. I mean, for the most part, I think it's due to lupus. I think some of it could be hereditary, some may also be due to age, and there has been a struggle internally with me as I am learning to love myself daily. And what I've been learning in this season is that confidence is not a permanent state of being, but it's a daily decision to wake up and love yourself even when you don't always like the reflection that you see in the mirror. So if you are in a season where you are struggling with your confidence, I do want to give you some practical tips that have been helping me. These are tips that have helped me internally as well as externally. So from an internal perspective, the biggest thing that I have been doing has been to reclaim my negative thoughts. Y'all know that I believe wholeheartedly in speaking positivity over yourself. We are our own worst critics, and it is important that you reclaim any negative narratives that you are telling yourself, because that is a sure confidence like killer, right? And so I really want you to reclaim those negative thoughts. When you find yourself speaking negatively about yourself, I challenge you to capture that thought captive immediately and flip it and speak positively over yourself. I do this by affirmations, I do this by journaling, sometimes I do this by listening to an encouraging word or an encouraging podcast, but whatever you have to do. And then on the flip side, there are physical ways that you can help boost your confidence. And I've shared this on my channel as well. But I have been starting to explore different ways to make me feel more physically confident in myself. I've been exploring different hairstyles. I've been exploring, enhancing my makeup skills and perfume and my style, and not that in my fitness. And not to say that you have to do those things to be confident in yourself, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with you boosting your confidence through physical means as well. So if you are struggling too with your confidence, know that confidence isn't about being perfect, but it's about learning to love yourself no matter what, okay? All right, so this brings me to something that I have been wrestling with for years. So, yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit that I have spent way too much time comparing myself to others, my journey, my love story, my style, my beauty, my hair, my accomplishments, my life, all the things, right? And let me be the first to tell you that comparison literally robs you of joy. I know we have heard this phrase, this thing that people say all the time, that comparison is the thief of joy. It really is. You could spend so much time comparing yourself to other people that you miss out on enjoying the beauty of your own life. So, what I am doing in this season is I am learning to find my worth in who I am instead of who I am not. And honestly, y'all, it has been so freeing to not focus so much on looking at the next woman or the next person, and just to focus on becoming the best version of myself. Now, I also have to be honest with this, because y'all know I like to be authentic and transparent over here. Dealing with comparison is not something that I have mastered, meaning comparison still creeps up on the daily, especially operating in this space of being a YouTuber and being a content creator. It is so easy to kind of fall into the comparison trap. And so, because I am aware of that, I am actively mindful of when comparison creeps in. In fact, right now, I am reading a book by Nona Jones, I believe, called Comparison Kills or something like that. I'll put it on the screen. But that is something that I've been pouring into my spirit so that I don't fall into the comparison trap. So if you've ever struggled with comparison, or comparison has robbed you of your own joy, I just want to remind you that you are not alone. And I want to remind you of this, that your story, your life, your journey, your accomplishments, all the things was divinely created for you. So I really don't want you to miss out on enjoying the beauty that's unfolding in your own life because you're so focused on someone else's life. I'm saying that to you, and I'm saying that to myself as well. So we got to hold ourselves accountable and not allow comparison to rob us of enjoying our lives. All right, so that brings me to my final truth that I will share in today's video, and that is, y'all, I wish I had broken up with perfectionism and this need to be perfect sooner. OMG. Perfectionism has really run and ruined my life, and it's been something that I have battled with since childhood, this need to always be the best and to be the most perfect person I can be. And y'all, it's been exhausting. Like, it's been so draining. And honestly, it's been performative because I haven't always shown up in spaces as my most authentic and transparent self, because I felt like I always had to be on my best behavior, right? And as a result of that, growing up, people put me on a pedestal. And I remember when I would do something that was wrong or bad, I felt like people were shaming me, like, oh, I can't believe you did that. You of all people. And it just continued to fuel this need to people please, even to the detriment of myself. And so, this is definitely something that I have battled with throughout my life. In fact, if I could share a really vulnerable story with you all, back in 2013, 2014, I was in an emotionally and verbally abusive relationship. And in fact, that relationship was the catalyst to me kind of starting the whole Lady V brand and, wanting to create a safe space for women. But I was in that relationship and I didn't share with anybody that I was in a verbally and emotionally abusive relationship. And the reason being was because I was like, I wasn't supposed to be in that. Like, I was so ashamed of having gotten into that situation, because here I am, a college graduate, a person who graduated valedictorian of her high school class, a certified public accountant. Here I am having all these accolades that put on a perfect picture, right? And here I am choosing the wrong men. And so I was very ashamed, and the need to be perfect and to have a perfect relationship kept me in an unhealthy situation for far too long. I didn't raise my hand to get help until it was almost too late. And so, yeah, I wish I had broken up with perfectionism sooner. And so now I'm learning that progress is so much more important than perfection. And I am learning to show up more authentically and transparently and give myself grace for the journey. That's why my tagline for this channel is navigating love and life with style and grace, because I struggled so much to give myself space to make mistakes, and to give myself grace in the growing and the becoming and the evolving. So now I'm like, I'm walking by grace. Okay, I am not walking in perfection. So if you are a person who struggles with perfectionism, sis, it's time to break up with perfectionism. You need to cut it, like cut it out of your life, and learn to give yourself grace, because perfectionism in and of itself is very exhausting. It's very mentally draining. And I just want you all to experience freedom in this life, freedom to grow, freedom to evolve, and freedom to become your best self. All right, love. So there it is. Those are my four truths that I am not ashamed to admit. If any of these resonated with you, be sure to leave me a comment below. Let me know how this video encouraged you. And again, my hope is that this just reminds you that you are not alone. It is absolutely okay to still be in a becoming season where you are evolving and blossoming and growing, while also learning to love yourself at these new levels. And so that's definitely where I am. I am in my becoming season. If you all follow me on Instagram, I've been talking a lot about this becoming season where I just feel like I am blossoming into my best self, and I am loving it. It ain't been easy, but I am loving it. So if you are in your becoming season, or you just need somebody to support you and create a safe space as you continue to evolve into your best self, then I would encourage you to like this video, hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on other videos that I post that are similar to this. And yeah, that is all that I have for you all this week. I'll see you next week. Bye.